What's up, MTV? Welcome to my crib. This ain't a crib tour, but I'm here to read some things from my journal. A lot of friends call it my diary, and it's a diary if you want it to be. It is a diary. My deepest, darkest secrets are here, I guess. But I was actually inspired by Guillermo del Toro as well as Florence Welch to go ahead and start journaling. It was something, I feel like I run into a lot of people who say the same thing. Oh, I want to journal. I was one of those, I want to journal people, and I never journaled. And then finally, I saw some stuff online of Florence Welch's journals, and I was like, wow, that's really beautiful. And she wrote poems, but the poems weren't they didn't have to rhyme. And sometimes I feel like that's the reason why I've often been intimidated by poetry, because sometimes I feel like I don't have a flow. I consider myself a writer, I do, but I feel like poets and people who write music have a different flow, and for me it has always been difficult to do that. But I've learned that it's not even about that, you don't even have to rhyme. I do have a flow, and I recognize my flow, is what I'm saying. But it was very inspired by the writings of Florence Welch. That's the point of this. I think that she has a beautiful way with words. Sometimes you listen to her music and her songs and you're just like, what is she talking about? But this is so beautiful. And it's not even a what is she talking about, because honestly, when you're singing the words, it's so many things that she's saying, and it's like, wow, I feel that. It's everything I feel inside. And it's just kind of sometimes when you're writing a song or a poem, perhaps you're trying to keep this rhyme going, and you can't, and it blocks you from expressing yourself continuously. So I've just started this type of writing where it's just kind of what are you thinking? Jots it down. And sometimes it's wacky stuff, but I feel like what was blocking me from what I've reached was I wasn't writing down the wacky stuff, and I've found this, write everything, who cares, write this, blah blah blah. Wow, I gotta read this. This is really long, this is a long intro. I don't know if people care about this, but yes, Florence Welch. And then one more thing, Guillermo del Toro also inspired me. I actually bought his book on Amazon, and it includes pages from his notebook as well, and he sketched in his notebook, and I love sketching. I really do. I love creating things, creating characters, drawing people I see. So sometimes I write journal entries about people that I saw. Maybe someone at the beach, maybe someone that was sitting across from me at school. And so yeah, I went into my journal with this style of writing, this unfiltered style of writing, and it really got me things. I'll scan through it a bit. I'm not gonna read every page exactly, but yeah. So that's the first page. Okay, now I'm skipping through a couple of pages. So that's it. I'll actually read some stuff. That was the point of this. So let's see. I'll read the first thing that I saw. So it's this page. It's the first thing I pretty much felt the need to read. And the top says, Have you ever seen a musician pick up an instrument? Have you ever seen the dent on a writer's ring finger? Have you seen a photographer pace in a dark room and get high off the acidic odors? Have you heard a fuck? Damn, my screen keeps on tripping, so that's why I get distracted. Okay, have you ever heard a fuck? As a calligrapher spills her ink on her new shoes. She never wears these shoes, and she never spills. Under a ceramicist's fingertips is some dry, bitter, some red clay. This was random. This was just a day after pottery that I wrote that. And then on the bottom, I wrote, don't freak, you're not a shit artist. Start seeing your dreams as everything that is meant to happen. Word. Okay. How important is what's important? Because I used to catch myself wishing I was dead a lot. I overthink how much I think, and I daydream about what others are thinking. Do you count all the birthmarks on your skin when you go home? Do you get overly sad over the idea that others are out here fighting their own war? Whether it's mental or physical, I think about these things every day. What's the reason why God had me start my life here and not in the South UK? I could have been a girl on the other side of the world. I could have known nothing but arranged marriage and religion. I wish I could take your pain. I wish I could take your place and heal your pain. I'm thinking of you. Would my thoughts be the same if this soul hosted a body somewhere else? And then under it I wrote, I wonder what Martin Luther King Jr. daydreamed about. I wonder what his thoughts were like at night. Some were born to stand up. These are things I actually think about every day. These are things that I sketch. I'd say one of my favorite sketches in this book is... Actually, it's not in this book. I had another notebook before I started this one, and I did a lot of really neat sketches on that, but I thought it was in this one because I just showed a friend that sketch earlier this week. This is pointless, and yeah, YouTube was awkward, but I was trying to conquer that, so I'm gonna